John, hi, how have you been?
It's been really hard. So
Hmm.
I've been spending a lot of time at home with AC. Yeah. What about you?
Similar, actually. Yeah, summer is not my favorite season. I don't like how hot it is, and there have been some wildfires, so a lot of time
Ooh,
inside, but get out when I can. I have prepared a lovely image of food to start us off
it
with.
looks delicious already.
Doesn't it? It looks pretty
I
fantastic,
can
right?
see it broccoli and cheese on top and yeah,
Yeah, I love the broccoli and cheese combo, but I'm sure you remember me talking about how much I love food and cooking.
you do.
And yeah, so you probably can't forget with how much I like to talk about it, right? But this is actually the New York Times Cooking newsletter, and New York Times Cooking is real popular here in the United States. And the newsletter is actually free to subscribe to. So it's kind of fun to get. And you may be thinking, well, if I don't love cooking, does that really make any sense? But I would argue that yes, it does, because not only are there beautiful images of food and recipe ideas, but the person who writes it does a really good job. And so it's eye candy, but it's also really good practice with good expressions and kind of like an engaging, but also a little bit higher level writing. But it doesn't go into the topic of like politics or something. So I like that it's kind of a light-hearted way to practice English and good expressions. So
I
what do
see.
you think? Are we good to maybe dive into it for a bit?
Yeah, I kind of agree that, we don't need to talk about politics and news all the time. Most of the times they're kind of bad and depressing. I don't want to actually, read and, I don't want to learn actually English from reading and watching those kind of things.
Yeah, important to do sometimes for whatever language, even our native language, but it's also nice to have those happy moments. And I think it doesn't get much happier than food. So going right along, so I'm going to scroll down. So you can see here that the title is What to Cook This Weekend, because
Mm,
this person here sends out a newsletter. Well, often, sometimes, but he sends out one kind of before the weekend because the weekend's a good time to do cooking projects if you're somebody who likes to cook because you have a bit more time. So is that common in Korea too? Are weekends kind of a good cooking project time?
yeah, weekend is, yeah, kind of because, supposedly we don't work, on weekends. So
Right.
family, you get together, spend time like a cooking and then, something delicious. Yeah, it's kind of common, I
Awesome.
guess.
Yeah, it's a good way to spend time together.
Hmm.
So in this one, he's talking about a person. We don't need to go into who this person is right now. That's not the point of this. But in this first real sentence, I mean, good morning, I guess counts as a sentence. But in this first one, there's
Okay.
some good wording and how to describe food and everything. But more importantly, there's an expression here that I want to talk about a bit. But do you want to just kind of read a little bit of it just to get a sense of it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Okay, took to the New York Times Magazine this week to extol the virtues of long-cooked vegetables.
Mhm.
Vegetables cook so deeply that they reveal new and complex flavors and texture. Vegetables that are long way from the French-style ones we see so often in restaurant cooking, bright and crisp.
That was awesome. You did a great job.
Thank you.
So, yeah, well, you deserve it. But in here, there's a particular phrase that I wanted to kind of address or an expression. And I'm not sure, maybe you've heard it before. Have you heard this phrasing? To
I
extol the
haven't.
virtues of something?
Nope.
No, you haven't? Okay. So I think this is a really great way to word things. And sometimes in conversation, but especially in writing, you'll kind of see this in a little bit of higher level writing. And so it's using phrases like this can be one way to really express yourself well and show how well you can write.
Hmm?
So the virtues of something, those are the good points, right? The strong points about
Strong point.
something,
Okay.
right? So if you extol the virtues of something, then you're basically sharing about or telling about the good points of something. Does that
Mm,
does that make sense?
yeah, it does. It does.
Okay, so again, you could use, here they're talking about extol the virtues of long cooked vegetables. It's a cooking newsletter. But this is a great expression that you could use in a wide variety of ways. So you could extol the virtues of really anything that is, positive and has a lot of benefits to it. Does anything come to mind of something that might be worth extolling the virtues of?
I cannot think of any off the top of my head, but
Yeah, well, what are some positive things in life, or that if you spend time doing, they benefit you later on?
that's really good. Quite.
I know it's hard just prompting like this, but for example, maybe exercise, right? It may
Oh
be
yeah,
something that we don't always love to do, but you could extol the virtues of exercise because exercise has a lot of benefits. So again, you're kind of talking about all those benefits. You're almost not bragging, but kind of like, wow, look at all these great things. So because exercise can help heart health and it can help with stress and all these
right.
different things.
Or good to extol the virtues of a good relationship.
Exactly. Yeah, that's perfect. So that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about. And now we'll dive in deeper, but I think that's a really great expression to keep in mind.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
basically, the New York Times Magazine is
Mhm.
talking about the good things about the long cooked vegetables, right?
Yeah, here that's that's what they're bringing up.
Gotcha.
But again, you can use this for anything. And actually, I wanted to kind of continue on to talk about how Korean food is really in vogue, meaning like really popular in the United States right now. So I'm going to scroll down and do that.